Thank you for joining us this evening. I see that we have a couple new faces that have joined the call here. We appreciate you being here. We have a quick message from our Spanish translator, followed by a welcome from the city. Monica?
Thank you. Hola, si quieren escuchar la presentación en español, por favor, pueden ir a la sala de español para escucharla en español.
Thank you. Council member?
Hi. So good evening. I'm Council Member Nelson Esparza. I represent District Number 7 here at the City of Fresno, which encompasses a great deal of the central and southern portion of the Blackstone Corridor, or the spine of Fresno, as I like to call it. I wanted to hop on briefly and just provide a brief welcome to everyone who took the time to be here this evening and provide their input. It really means a lot. I do want to excuse sort of the black and white visual here. I'm zooming from my vehicle, and I have a reception I have to attend here shortly. Did not want to miss the opportunity to say hello and just to communicate to everyone who took the time here to come tonight. Just how much it means to me that you are participating. You came to find out and learn more about the potential PBID here on Blackstone. Some of you may have questions about what a PBID is. These kind of folks here that we've contracted to help execute this initiative are going to help explain exactly what it is. But really, your participation is critical, because ultimately the decision in a lot of ways is left up to you about whether we do a PBID or not, and what kind of benefits you will reap as a property owner and as a corridor as a whole, depending on how these conversations go and how they how they unfold. I had put in a motion at the city to secure some dollars to explore this PBID idea, because we've had some level of sort of informal PBID activity already, and not in terms of the funding necessarily, but in terms of some of the activities that have transpired on Blackstone over the years, some of the good things that have happened over the years. This is really looking at a way to help to formalize those positive attributes and those positive activities that have taken place over the years, and helped to improve Blackstone from what it was. And we continue to have our challenges along the corridor. We'll continue to address them. And I think that this PBID and your participation in it will ultimately go a very, very long way in the progress of the Blackstone Corridor. And so, I want to thank everyone who's taken the time to be here and to participate, because really that's the only way that this works, and that's the only way we're going to continue to push the corridor forward. So I do have to hop off here shortly, but I do look forward to rewatching the meeting. I know it's being recorded, to hear the comments and questions precisely as they were told or asked. But again, thank you for having me, and look forward to continuing to engage with everybody throughout this process.
Thank you, Councilmember Esparza, for your welcome. And I'm Danielle Wood, Director at CivicMic. We are one of the firms that was hired to help with the engagement of this process. So the main focus here is to work together with you and your local government, the city, to shape your community's future. The City of Fresno is sharing options available to you to fund enhanced services in your community, and they are acting solely as a facilitator of this process to ensure that your voice is being heard. So tonight's meeting will kick off the engagement process for the potential formation of a PBID, as mentioned, if you happen to be here and you're from the Belmont community, we hosted that meeting last night, and that's okay because for this meeting, last night's meeting and tonight's meeting, we will be covering very similar information because we're kicking off both communities at the same time. After this meeting, you will want to try to attend the Belmont community meetings if that's where you're located and that's what you're interested in, because they will start to become very different based on the information that we gather from the community. So tonight we plan to keep the meeting to 1 hour. We have about half of that we'll take up in presentations, and then we'll move to questions from all of you. The meeting will be recorded and shared on civicmic.com/Fresno. You can go there, watch the video. You can share it with your community members, share it with business owners, property owners. If you haven't already visited the site, please go there and take the survey. The survey will help inform us on next steps moving forward. The survey will be open until about mid-January. So please take an opportunity to do that. We'll cover that again at the end of the presentation, but all questions will be held until the end. We respect everyone's opinion and we look forward to hearing from all of you. But if there's any foul language being used or anyone making remarks throughout the presentation, we will move you to a different room and ask that you cool down. And then if we need to, we'll remove you from the meeting. We don't anticipate that happening at all, but we always like to let people know that we will respect your privacy and we will make sure that people treat you with respect as well. So for our agenda tonight, I know some people are still joining, but our agenda tonight, we will start off with an educational piece on the project funding details and formation timeline presented by Amanda Welker from NBS. Amanda?
Thank you so much, Danielle, and thank you, Councilmember Esparza, for joining us tonight. And I want to thank you, community members that are here to engage with your neighbors and fellow business owners and property owners and the city to be a part of this collaboration and this effort. And we hope that this presentation provides just a high level overview of the process and what you can expect. And then, as Danielle mentioned, we'll have questions at the end. So we'll go ahead and start with our first slide. So first, we want to just talk about what a special assessment is and how it's different than a special tax. So special assessments describe a family of charges that are levied against a parcel of land for the proportional special benefit that is generated by the public service or improvements that a district expects to deliver. So if we're forming a new district that is an assessment district, again, we'll be identifying that special benefit that is generated by those activities and improvements. The assessments are approved by a protest ballot proceeding, and each property owner's ballot is weighted by the amount of the assessment assigned to that owner's property. Of those ballots that are returned, if a majority of the weighted ballots oppose the assessment, this means that a majority protest exists and the assessment may not be imposed. And similarly, if the ballots returned are in a majority that are in favor of the assessment, then the assessment can move forward. As it relates to special taxes, they, on the other hand, are a charge imposed for a specific service or improvement, and that tax is calculated via a special tax formula. And the successful establishment of a special tax requires an approval of 2/3 of registered voters voting in an election. Each voter has one vote, which is regardless of their weighted share of the proposed special tax levy. So those two things at the end make it that's what makes it the biggest difference between the assessment. Is that voting threshold and also the special benefit portion that is attributed to special assessments rather than special taxes. And next slide, please. Thank you. And so today we're going to be talking about a type of assessment district, which is a property and business improvement district. And that is a special assessment that provides for the levy and collection of assessments on properties within a geographically defined area. Assessment revenue is collected from the benefiting properties and pays the costs associated with the improvements, maintenance, and activities in that area. The legislation that allows for the establishment of a PBID, which that's what I'll refer to it as the rest of this presentation, just the abbreviated word PBID. It's authorized under the Property and Business Improvement District Law of 1994. And after this, I'll also just refer to that as the law, which otherwise it's just a mouthful. And an owner's association is the administrator of a PBID that's established under the law. So the owner's association is a private nonprofit entity that is under contract with the city to administer or implement the services and activities that are specified in the management district plan. The owners association will make a recommendation to the city council on the expenditure of revenues that are derived from the levy of those assessments, on the classification of properties applicable, and on the method and basis of levying the assessments. The owners association shall also cause a report to be prepared and presented to the city council each year, and it will include a recommended amount of assessments to be levied and collected. So the PBID authorizes multiple types of activities, and we have here in this pyramid just a few that are listed. I'll read you a little bit of those that are authorized in the code, but please note that this is not an exhaustive list. So things like promotion of public events, furnishing of music in any public place, promotion of tourism within the district, marketing and economic development, including retail retention and recruitment, providing security, sanitation, graffiti removal, street and sidewalk cleaning, and other municipal services other than or supplemental to those that the city already provides. And then other services with the purpose of conferring a special benefit upon the assessed property in the district. And then additionally, we have authorized improvements that are allowable under the law. And some of those include the acquisition, construction, installation, or maintenance of any property with an estimated useful life of 5 years or more. And those are inclusive but not limited to the following, which are parking facilities, benches, booths, kiosks, display cases, pedestrian shelters, trash receptacles, public restrooms, lighting and heating facilities, parks, fountains, planting areas, widening or narrowing of existing streets, and other facilities and equipments that enhance security of persons or property within the district, ramps, sidewalks, pedestrian malls, and then rehabilitation or removal of existing structures. So those are the items that the PBID can fund. Again, as I mentioned, not an exhaustive list. So to get to that process where we are collecting revenues to provide additional services or improvements to this specific area, there's a full process that must be completed and undertaken. And we have a list of those steps here for you. And again, this is high level, so we could answer any questions on specifics as we finish this presentation. But on the next slide, I'll start to just go through each of these steps with a little bit more granularity. Next slide, please. So the first step is the data gathering step. So this is where we want to hear from you as community members and stakeholders in this process of the boundaries that you're interested in. If you're interested in your property being a part of this, we want to hear from you. The proposed services and improvements that you're interested in for your community, the proposed budget, so how much these services cost. We expect that to be important to you and want you to be part of that conversation. And then also part of our job will also be to identify the property characteristics so that we can better understand how the benefits will be conferred upon each parcel of property in the district. So that's the kind of beginning stages, and that's where we're going to need a lot of your help in kind of gathering that data and identifying the most important components. And once we have that information, we're going to start to identify the benefits resulting from those proposed services. And one really critical piece about an assessment district is that only special benefits are accessible. So we'll go through an analysis to determine what benefits are above and beyond and special to your property or the properties within the district based on the activities and services that will be provided. General benefits that are identified must be quantified, and then that corresponding portion is excluded from the assessment. So there needs to be a supplemental source of revenue, and that is typically from the city's general fund, because the general benefit is defined as a benefit that is effective for everybody. And the next step of the process, once we've identified those special and general benefits, is to prepare the management district plan and the engineer's report. So at that time, what we'll do is we will solidify that boundary and identify all of the parcels that will be included in the boundary of the district, and also include the list of services and activities that are proposed to be funded by the assessment. We'll prepare a budget in collaboration again with our stakeholders, and that will be finalized. And then we'll also prepare a detailed method of assessment, which explains how each parcel is getting their final assessment amount, the calculation of that. And then the management district plan will outline the proposed rules and regulations for the district. And then finally, we'll have a listing of proposed assessments by parcel. So you will have a full list of all the parcels in the district, their assessment methodology, and then also the total dollar amount they'll be anticipating to pay each year. Once that information is finalized, then we move on to the petition phase. And in order for this process to progress to City Council, the property owners must sign petitions, and more than 50% of the assessment amount in petitions will need to be submitted to the City Council in order for the process to move forward. So again, similar to the weighted ballot concept, the petitions are also weighted by the assessment amount. So for example, if one property owner's assessment is $50 and the other property owner's assessment is $100, the one that has $100 will technically have twice as much weight as property owner number one. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about the assessment percentages. Again, this is just the petition to move forward in the process. And again, more than 50% must be submitted. The petition will include the initial total annual assessment amount for each parcel. I should say on the petition for that property owner, they will see their assessment amount and the map of the district boundaries, as well as the management district plan information and where they can obtain a copy of that to review it. Once we have received the petitions, City Council will consider them and the management district plan, as well as the engineer's report. And they will adopt a resolution of intention setting a public hearing date and ordering the mailing of assessment ballots. So again, once we receive more than 50% of the weighted petitions, then City Council will review them and order the public hearing and the mailing of the ballots. And then next slide, thank you. The assessment ballot phase, that is the sixth step in our process. So from there, we would mail out the ballots to each property owner at least 45 days prior to the public hearing. And then property owners would consider the ballots and return them with either their yes or no vote. As we mentioned, the ballots are weighted based on the assessment amount, and a yes vote is in favor and a no vote is in opposition. At the public hearing, the ballots will be tabulated, and if there are more than 50% of the weighted assessment ballots that are returned in favor, then the City Council will adopt a resolution of formation and move forward with forming the district. And that is the end of my presentation, and I will turn it over to Danielle, and she will go through any questions that anyone has. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Amanda. So now we will move into questions. What we're going to do is we'll go ahead and take, we have some individuals in a Spanish translation room. First, we're going to take questions here on this side, and then we'll join that group with us and ask if there's any questions from the team that's in the translation room. So if you have a question and you are on, the computer, you can go ahead and raise your hand and I will call on your name. Please try and limit your question to one question at a time. We can answer your question and then move on if there's others, and then we can come back to you if you have additional questions. In addition, try to limit the time that you're using to give any background just so everyone can get their questions answered. Then after that, we'll move to the phone. And if you're on the phone, you can push *6 to unmute yourself and then say your name. So at this time, we'll take anyone with their hands raised. I see Ivan. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Ivan Paz, Better Blackstone. I was just wondering if I can get a copy of your slides. Can you drop that in the chat? It kind of went really fast, and I want to just kind of go through it real quick.
Yeah, our slides will also be posted. I'll see if we can get those dropped in the chat there, but the slides will also be posted on civicmic.com/Fresno, and you'll be able to see them there as well as the recording of this entire meeting. So you can share those with other members of the community.
Thank you. I would just like to revisit a few things before I ask my questions. I want to sound smart.
Okay. John, are you able to drop those in?
Yes, I should be able to. I'm going to put PDF in there.
Okay, perfect. Were there any other questions at this time? If you're on the phone, you can go ahead and unmute *6 and then just say your name. Okay. Monica, do you have any questions in your room? No. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, yes.
Yes, my name is Mitra, 4030 North Blackstone. I'd like to know how long does this process take from start to taking action?
Okay, so I can help you a little bit with that, and then we'll see if there's anything Amanda would like to add. But it really depends on your community. So it can go as quick as 3 to 6 months. With that being said, if it does happen that quickly and the district's approved and it's placed on the tax roll, the funds won't be available to the community until this time next year. So it's placed on the tax roll in the summer by right around August. And then the first apportionment of funds from those payments comes in when the tax bills are mailed out in October, paid in December as the first apportionment of funds. So that's when you have the ability to start seeing some improvements from this effort. With that said, though, if the community maybe has different priorities and there's some back and forth about who should be included in the boundaries or what services should be included. It could take, up to a year to get the district to a position where the community supports it and wants to move forward. Amanda, is there anything I missed there that you'd like to add?
I don't think so. The set in stone piece is the time between the intent meeting and the public hearing, which is the 45 days. So that's built in. But yeah, I would agree with Danielle that the petition gathering phase can be a short time or a long time, depending on kind of the engagement of the community. And then again, even before that process begins, ironing out all of the details that need to go into the engineer's report and management district plan, which include, like Danielle said, the boundaries and the services and improvements and budget and those type of things. So if there's immediate consensus, it can be quick, but if there's a lot of discussion or changes that occur over time, it can take longer.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone on the call?
Yes, I have a question. My name's Cindy Combino. I am a community member, not a property owner. And so the recording of the meeting I can find again because it went so fast on civic.mic.com Fresno. Is that correct?
Just CivicMic, CIVIC, mic, like a microphone, mic.com/Fresno. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you for attending.
I went ahead and put both of those URLs in the chat. You can do civicmic.com/Fresno, and then you can click into Blackstone. You can also just type in civicmic.com/Blackstone, and that'll take you straight to the Blackstone project page.
Thank you, John. Okay, Ivan, did you have any questions? Have you had a chance to look through those slides yet? While Ivan's looking at that, I wanted to let everyone know we did cover this at the beginning, but
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, I was muted. I was talking to myself. Yeah, I just barely downloaded it. So I think the questions that I currently have is what are the boundary? What is the boundary, or what are the parameters around this the district that would be a part of this PBID?
Okay, so on civicmic.com, we currently have a survey that's listed. There is a preliminary boundary that's been set based on previous engagement efforts with the community and suggestions from community members and stakeholders on what area could benefit from enhanced services. However, the city wants to hear from everyone in this process. As I mentioned at the beginning, they are merely the facilitator of the formation of the district. So they are really looking to the community to say, what do you want this district to be? What boundary do you want this to cover? What services, what improvements? So if you take the survey, there's an option there to draw a boundary. So you can draw the boundary and then provide details as to why you believe that certain parcels should be included or not. So what we're going to do is from all of those surveys, we'll take that information. And if you go to civicmic.com/Blackstone is more direct for this community. If you go there, you can sign up for updates. So anytime we post updates to the web page, you'll get a notification. We don't typically do that more than once a week, so it's not like you'll receive a lot of spam, and it's only for this district, the information you'll receive. So if you sign up for that, what will happen is when the survey closes in mid-January, we'll gather that information, and then we'll be hosting additional stakeholder engagement meetings. One will be in person as kind of a community open house working group. And at that meeting, we'll share everyone's priorities. We'll share the services that they were looking for, everything that we received from the survey and any conversations we've had, and start to build out the plan and what that would look like, and then continue to refine that until we get to a point of consensus.
Great. I have another question. Sorry. And I'm just out of curiosity because I had worked back in 2000, what was it? 2022. I was trying to hold some meetings with property owners along the corridor, Blackstone Corridor, to try to get some buy-in on a PBID. There was a lot of resistance. I think folks didn't quite understand the PBID concept. The reaction was often, why am I going to pay more taxes when I already pay enough taxes? And then So I guess my question is, one, who is facilitating this process, or who is kind of engaging uh, or seeking to establish a PBID along Blackstone with this group? And is it related to the Blackstone Merchants Association? I had talked to the president, and he said that he was in the process of getting a PBID for Blackstone, but it seems to me that this group is not the same as that other group. So my question is, who's kind of engaging this?
All of you are, hopefully. The city has heard from the community that there's a desire to have enhanced services, partially through your previous efforts. And it has come to their attention that people are interested in exploring this option. You and anyone else in the community that's interested will be the stakeholders that will be spearheading this activity. And if there's no survey responses, or the survey responses we receive all say that no one's interested in it, then the city will likely stop the process.
When you
But
say the city, are you referring to uh, council members, the
so
mayor?
the city has hired our team, NBS and CivicMic, to facilitate this process. So because they heard that there was interest in additional improvements in the area, they hired us as consultants to go out to stakeholders and see if that's true. So we
When
will
when was
provide the
this
recommend
contract? When was this contracted?
just within the last couple months. So
Okay. And then this has nothing so this probably is a collective, it's a result of a collective voice. Maybe it involved a little bit of the Merchants Association. It probably involved some of the Better Blackstone participants or members. And it probably, I just held a town hall meeting a few weeks ago where I teach urban planning at Fresno State, and my students have been working on a project drawing correlations between land use and crime algorithms between Gettysburg and Dakota. They did a really great job. One of their proposals was a PBID as well, and Nelson Esparza was in that town hall meeting on the panel. So it sounds like it was just um, someone at the city, I'm still not sure who, but has been hearing this collective request. Is that correct?
right, you must have missed the beginning when Nelson spoke. But yes, he said that he had heard
Oh,
Kelly.
great.
Kelly from the city is also on the call and attended your meeting.
Yes.
Yes, so yes, they've been hearing from your group, from others, that there is an interest. So
Oh, great.
that's why they're putting this effort forward to see if other people agree. And that's, why we're here to help them kind of move this process forward and gather as much information from various parties to see if we can come to a consensus from all the individuals who have expressed some interest.
Thank you very much. And thank you,
Yeah.
Kelly.
Yes, and thank you for being here, Ivan. I just wanted to jump on. Danielle did a very good job covering why we're doing this, but it is because the council member and along with others at the city have heard from the businesses or some of the businesses that there was a potential want to do this. And so we've embarked on this feasibility study just to see if there is truly a collective need and desire to do this. So Ivan, I'm really glad that you're here. I would hope that you would pass along this information to others who you think would be interested, stakeholders and others who would be interested in being a part of the conversation. The Merchants Association along Blackstone, we would love to have them here and part of the conversation as well. So we did our best to mail it out to everybody along Blackstone, all of the property owners, but anything you can do to spread the word is much appreciated.
Sorry, one last question. I promise I'll shut up. No, this is really exciting. So was there any response at all from the president of the Merchants Association?
My team did not receive a response directly.
Okay,
No.
thank you.
Mhm. It looks like we have, yes. Did you have a question?
I have a question. Yes,
Yes.
please. Does this program cover taking care of the homelessness, drug dealers and other activities that is happening in that particular area of Blackstone?
Answer that if you like, Danielle.
Okay, go ahead.
If the community is interested in services that are related to safety, there are definitely services that can be added to the district, such as additional security patrols, graffiti removal. A lot of times there's services that prevent homelessness gathering in certain areas, such as like street sweeping and sidewalk cleaning and things like that, to improve not only just cleanliness, but also, the safety aspect of, not allowing people to loiter for periods of time. So there's definitely services that can be part of the PBID that can facilitate those types of efforts, yes, in regards to safety.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for your question.
Sure.
Monica, did you have any questions in the breakout room there from anyone? No. Okay, just want to make sure before we went back to Ivan.
Sorry, I broke my promise. I said I would shut up.
That's okay. That's okay.
Who's the person who brought up the reality of crime on Blackstone? Who is this?
We can ask if she wants to identify herself.
Oh, okay.
If she doesn't need to. But
Yeah.
the caller who asked the question.
Yeah, well, the reason I wanted to respond to that is this semester my college students were doing, I think I mentioned it, they were doing a research project drawing correlations between bad design, land use, and crime algorithms. And we also work with the Central Policing Station to collect information on crime. And the question that we asked was, why do certain crimes tend to take place over and over again in certain spaces, specific spaces? And they were able to apply some analyses along the corridor. We held 2 community meetings to get community input, and they produced a report that I think for those of you that are property owners along Blackstone, whether it's commercial or residential, I think it'll help you understand the need for investment development at the same time or simultaneously done with crime fighting. I know that there's one network of folks that say don't invest, don't develop until we put away the criminals, the prostitutes, and the drug dealers. And then there's another group that is saying, let's invest, let's develop more affordable housing, mixed use developments. What the students have done is they said, why can't we do both? And they propose some really cool strategies. So if that's something, I don't think I can drop it in the box. It looks like but I can share that that report if you want, and then you can share it with those that attended the meeting.
Sure. I have your email. I'll go ahead and I responded to you when you were hosting that last workshop. But I'll go ahead and email you. And if you want to send that to me, anyone that's on the call can request a copy of that and we'll send it out to you.
Yeah.
And then
By
we
the
can
way, sorry, my email just changed, so I'm not with Every
okay.
Neighborhood Partnership anymore.
Okay.
So it's Paz in the City, PAZ, like my last name, pazinthecity@gmail.com.
Okay. And I assume anyone on the call that would like to reach out to you can as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Could you repeat your email, please? PAUD?
It's Paz, PAZ.
PAZ.
Paz
At Gmail.
in the city. So in the THE city, CITY.
Okay.
And
Yes.
you can reach out to us as well. D Wood for Danielle Wood at CivicMic.com. And I can get you a copy of that if you're interested.
Okay.
Okay.
To answer his question, I know of a property owner who allows these kind of activities around his property. Why, I don't know, but that particular property has brought down that part of Blackstone tremendously.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. And maybe the two of you want to talk offline. Again, this is a stakeholder movement. So while the city is needed to facilitate the formation of the district and manage the funding that's collected from property owners through the county and then put back to the association that will ultimately use the funds, there needs to be individuals that volunteer to run the association. And because it's not the city will not be the ones that are responsible for using the funds for these enhanced services. So, I recommend the two of you discuss offline any other stakeholders that want to reach out to you, and we'll continue to walk you through the process that's available to you to form a PBID, because that's where we're experts. And
Okay.
all of you, really talking with your neighbors, talking with the business owners, talking with the property owners, and coming up with a plan for what you want done in your community. That's where we'll be coming to you to ask the questions. So, um, if there's not any other questions tonight, we have another question? No. I thank you all for joining us. Again, please visit civicmic.com // Blackstone. Take the survey, provide as much information as you can, share this video that will be posted there probably before tomorrow at this time will be posted on the site. Share the slides, encourage your community members to get involved, and you can sign up for updates as well so you will stay informed. But we look forward to seeing all of you and those individuals that you bring with you to the next meeting. Here's my contact information on the screen, 1-800-676-7516 if you want to call, or my email again is dwood@civicmic.com. Feel free to email me, reach out with any questions you have. If you have a question, likely one of your neighbors or community members has the same question. So please feel free to reach out to us. And we appreciate your attendance tonight and look forward to speaking with you over the next few months to get this moving forward. Thank you so much and have a good evening.